there. Hi guys, I think we're here today. Welcome to another episode of Real Food Reality, where we are busting down the myths that real food, fixing it, eating it, growing it has to be hard. It doesn't. And I'm here to help you do that. I'm your host today and real food strategist Tess Hoke. I'm also the host of a Facebook group called Glucose Girls, where we're managing our blood sugar with our forks. If that sounds like something that might be fun or interesting for you, I got some more details coming at the end of the show, so I'll leave a link for that. Today, our topic is the magic of microgreens. Now, if you're a replay viewer tuning in afterwards, I want to say thanks for tuning in. I promise I'll check back and check your comments. So if you've got something you'd like to add to the conversation, you're part of the party too, so do so. And I will and respond to those as well. It's live, and so you never know what's going to happen. My phone is ringing off the hook over here. I want to get over so that I can check on your comments, but we'll wait for that thing to go away. If you're also, whoa, whoops, that's what I love about live. Hang on. If you're also new to, God bless him. If you're also new to Real Food Reality, the reason this show kind of came about and started up, and I'm going to pull up some little things right here. Hang on. Just so I can see some little comments. If you're new to all this, this came about, this whole show happened, not only because I own a garden shop and I grow my groceries and I teach people how to do that, but also because one day I got a tick bite. And I went to my healthcare professional and found out when my blood test came back that no, everything was good on the tick bite end of things. But guess what? I had a condition called prediabetes. Prediabetes is a condition that a lot of people have and don't know they've got. It's estimated that 1 out of 3 of us, of all things, has this condition. Now, prediabetes is kind of a sort of a place in time where if we catch this condition, we've got an opportunity to turn things around, to change things. If we do nothing about it, then we can progress all the way to full-blown type 2 diabetes. And that's a condition with no cure. That's a condition that's full of things like needles and insulin injections and glucose monitoring. And if you're at all like me, and I hope that you are, I can imagine that's not the way you want to be spending your time. So let's catch this little thing, this prediabetes condition, while we've got a chance to change things, and let's turn it around. And so my journey in doing that is this show, Real Food Reality. I'm showing you what I'm doing. I'm going to teach you everything that I'm learning, and I am changing my future, and I'm going to lick this thing, and I'm taking you with me. So Real Food Reality, that's how we're going to do it. If you can hear me and if everything looks good, why don't you just do me a big favor and give me a thumbs up just so that I can know, oh yay, that it's working. I'm trying to get all my tech skills in line here and not abuse you in the process. So today on Real Food Reality, let's talk about the magic of microgreens. Does anybody know what microgreens are? Have you heard about them? Have you seen them in your favorite food market? Have you ever tried to grow them? Microgreens are literally something that's new to me too. I've always heard about them. It's just been in the last couple years that I have really taken a step into adding them into my diet, and I found out that they're really easy to grow at home. So one of the things I'm going to show you today is how you can grow those in your windowsill. And I'm also going to leave you with a tip at the very end to show you how you can have a constant supply of these microgreens coming at you as a really slick little way just to make sure you never run out. Welcome to all of you joining me. I thank you very much. Like I said, I'm not real hip on all of this. Oopsie, sorry you guys, on all of this tech stuff, and I want to, and I'd like to be able to catch all of those comments. but I don't want me talking on stereo in all these places. So microgreens are a way that I'm going to be able to add some really amazing food sources to my diet, and it's easy to do, and I want you to be able to do it too. Let's see. So, if you are in that prediabetes camp, by the way, if you don't know you are, it's really good to check it out, peeps. And so I've got a really sweet free download for you today. It's my prediabetes take action checklist. And what it is kind of what I did when I found out that I was diagnosed with this. It's sort of a 5-step little thing that you can quickly go through, the things that you'll want to make sure that you're doing so that you can avoid this and turn it around for yourself. If you don't know you have it, a blood test is the first place to start, and this little checklist will help you navigate that and tell you what you need to do. So back to microgreens. Let's get started, shall we? Let's learn how we can grow some of these things and add some real food to our diet so that we stay healthy and wealthy and hopefully wise. So I have a garden shop, like I said, and one of the products that I sell there is Botanical Interest, a really great company out of Colorado. And they have this little microgreens grow kit that you can order online. I promise at the end in the comments I'll leave you a link to make it really easy to do that. And get started at home. You can also DIY it yourself. You're going to need some seeds, and you're going to need some things like in this little kit. And I'll just open it up here. They send you a couple little grow trays in there. I've got one of them in my sink here in my little office space. And in this little grow kit are 3 little trays. I've got one, and I'll show you what I've done with it. There is a dome cover that goes over the top. They give you a bag of soil, which is really not soil, and that's kind of another fun thing about growing microgreens in your kitchen is you don't have dirt and everything. This is just some coconut material that is dehydrated, and you literally add a cup or 2 of water to it, and poof, it turns into a grow medium. Which I've got here, and I added, I think, a couple cups of water, and that little guy expanded into this great little grow medium, which is soft and moist, and it's not dirty. You don't have to worry about getting all this muck in your kitchen, but it's what's the medium that we're going to plant our seeds and grow our microgreens. Now, microgreens, if you don't know what they are for certain, are literally the first leaves, the first few tiny little leaves of vegetable seedlings and herb seedlings as they begin to grow. And what is so amazing about microgreens is researchers and health professionals call them a functional food. And a functional food are foods that you can eat that do 2 things. They promote health and they prevent illness. It's like taking a magic potion or something. And so microgreens fit into that category. They're a functional food. They're also full of phytonutrients, which are all these amazing green chemicals that our bodies need, and oftentimes we're not getting enough of those in order to remain healthy. So microgreens jam-packed full of them. I'm a farmer by trade, and let me sort of tell you why they're so jam-packed of all of this. If you have ever raised chickens in your backyard, or if you've ever gotten a baby chick or watched a baby chick hatch out of an egg, the amazing thing about nature is they sort of take care of all of the unseen dilemmas sort of coming at you. And in a chicken's case, you can order a chicken online, have it shipped in a box across the country, and that little baby chick has enough energy in its system already just by having hatched to last for 3 days before it needs any further nutrients. Well, microgreens are kind of the same. When a seedling emerges, it emerges with 2 little green leaves that really aren't true leaves in that they don't photosynthesize from the sun, but they're jam-packed full of energy that little seedling is going to pull from in order to send out its root and begin its growing process. So what you and I are going to do, and why microgreens are so great for us, is that we are going to sort of intercept the grow process. We're going to harvest our microgreens before that plant really gets off and running, and what we're going to do is then eat in those little greens all of that energy that plant was going to use to grow. So we're sort of intercepting all of these energy molecules, and we're going to gobble them up ourselves instead of letting the plant use them for growth. So it's really nutrient-dense, packed food, energy, really good stuff, all in the first few leaves of that plant. So back to how you grow microgreens. So as I said, I've got this little grow kit. Here is my little tray with my little hydrated growing medium. It's not dirt, so it's not dirty and icky. If you happen to order one of these trays or one of these kits online, make sure that you don't forget to order seeds because they don't come with it. So I've got some little microgreen seeds. I'll show you here. This is a little savory mix. And let's see if you can see that there. In it are things like beets and Swiss chard, radishes, mustard, cress, cabbage, kohlrabi. So a lot of vegetables that you can see. But we're going to intercept, like I said, we're going to eat them early. So it really doesn't matter necessarily what they are, just that we're going to get the vavoom out of it. So here's a little tip. We're going to seed these. Now, one of the things, and let me show you, I was hoping that I had some already done up earlier, but like I said, I'm taking you on my journey with me. And microgreens are something I'm starting to add today. So let me reach down here and show you. And so I don't have any that are already grown. I'm growing them for myself. But can you see how densely planted their little picture here is? Well, that's kind of what you and I are up to today, is we're going to densely plant all of our seeds in our grow medium so that they are very tightly packed. And then when they come up, and I'll get into that in just a second, then we're just going to take our pair of scissors and clip them off sort of at that soil level, put them in our fridge, put them on our plate, and consume them. So these seeds, here's a little trick of the trade so that you know how dense to plant your seeds. If you open these up, and certain vegetables have seeds that are certain sizes. Some are very, very tiny. Some are bigger than others. But I do believe that these seeds that we're going to find in here, you'd call pretty darn small. Yep, they're teeny weeny, kind of like the size of a pinhead. So that's not very big. So the rule of thumb is to take maybe 10 to 12 of these seeds per square inch. And so that's what I'm going to do. I've got about 6 or so. Oh yeah, there's maybe 10. There's definitely 12 there. And in my little grow tray, I'm going to just maybe pick, oh hi guys, oh great, I can see you there. My phone fell on the floor and I couldn't figure that all out. So hey Bethany, thanks so much for joining me, sweetheart. Thank you. Denise, hey, great to see you guys here. Joanna, thank you. Amanda, you guys are so sweet for tuning in. Hey Bethany, I'll have to come back and listen later. Oh, thanks, sweetie. I love you so much. Thanks for tuning in. But back here to these seeds. So maybe rule of thumb, if you're growing microgreens, 10 to 12 of them per square inch, if they're little bitty seeds, kind of the type on the pinhead kind of size. And so 10 to 12 every square inch. So you kind of get an idea of how much that is. So that's not huge amounts. But it's going to be quite a dense planted little tray. And let's see if I can do this without knocking this over too. That will make for a great little live. But I'm just going to scatter these, as you can see. Where can you see that? On top of my soil. And I'm taking a stab, and I'm going to go pretty darn thick. And we're just going to scatter those in there. And then the easy part, because these are small little seeds, what we're going to do is we're not going to really cover them with any more soil. We're just going to gently press them in. Now, you'll find that if you do this, that your little soil medium is nice and moist. And the moistness that you're looking for, guys, is sort of that consistency of a wrung-out sponge, okay? It's not wet. It's not dripping wet, but it's not dry either. And so that's just a perfect amount of moisture to get going. Now, botanical interest is really great in these little grow units, and because one of the things that you get in your kit is a little clear dome top that we're going to put over the top of our moist medium. Now, it's pretty moist in there because I wet that soil earlier today, let it soak up some moisture. And we're just going to put it like so over the top of our little guy. Can you see how that is? Okay, so then we need some light. You got a windowsill, you got a nice table where light comes in. I could even leave it in my sink in my sunny office here and just let it go. And the nice thing about microgreens, growing them in our house, is we're not necessarily growing them into a plant. We're going to harvest them early, if you remember that. So it's only going to take a few days. Various microgreens, various things take different times. They'll tell you on the front of the packet how many days, and this one takes 5 to 10 days. So I know that I'm not really going to need huge amounts of light because I'm trying to grow a seedling into a plant. I'm going to harvest this early, and so I can get away sometimes, fudge a little if I need to, with some light requirements. But sort of pick a bright, sunny spot that you've got, do the best you can. Perfect isn't necessary, and just set them there with our dome top on and let nature do its thing. Okay, so then what's going to happen is you're going to begin to see these little plants begin to emerge. All right, so pay attention. This is really important. Pay attention to that 5 to 10 day window. So we're going to be looking in that little time period for it. We don't want it to go any longer because then we're going to miss the power of micronutrients. And here's why. When these plants begin to emerge, the first thing that comes up is these tiny little green leaves. And you'll notice that those green leaves, let's pretend it's a kale plant. Let's pretend we know what baby kale leaves look like. We probably do. We buy them in the market all the time. Am I right? And so the first leaves on any vegetable that show up do not look like the rest of the vegetable leaves because they're not a true leaf. They don't have an ability to photosynthesize. But what's remarkable about them is in those first green leaves, they have all of the energy that plant, that little seedling, let's say it was a kale plant, is going to use in its future life to grow up tall enough to emit enough leaves so that it can begin to photosynthesize and send roots down. But we're going to be smart and we're going to intercept that whole thing. And we're going to cut these guys off when they begin to set their next leaf, which will be a true leaf, which will have an ability to photosynthesize. Once that happens, then that plant is going to start sucking out all of that energy out of those first little green things and take away the nutrient possibilities that we were kind of hoping for. So it's really critical with microgreens to cut them at a stage when you're not letting them go too far. Because remember, the goal of this is to get in those incredible energy sources out of that plant. And so we don't want them to go too far. Does that make sense? If you've got a question, if I'm sort of rattling on here and none of that makes much sense, give me, oh, Bridget, hey, thanks, sweetheart. Love microgreens. That's exactly right. So that's the key to your success there. It's not so much the light and growing your plants. It's that once those leaves emerge and they begin then to set that next true leaf, that's the point at which we want to cut them. And then we're going to we'll take my little picture again since I don't have any real thing here today. Then we're just going to take our scissors. We're just going to cut them at soil level. And we're going to put them in a bag in our fridge or directly on our plate, and they are delicious, they're fabulous, they're wonderful. So they're easy, guys. There's not a whole lot to it. Now, you can DIY this if you don't want to go and order a kit. You can just find a simple tray, a little grow tray. You can do a wooden box, you can do a cardboard box, you can do and line it with plastic, you can do darn near anything. It doesn't matter. What's the key is you want to find some sort of clear plastic, something that you can cover in the beginning few first days before they start to emerge, because what that's going to do is sort of create this greenhouse effect and keep those seeds moist and on their road to sprouting. So that's really one of the keys. So if you're DIYing it, look for something like that. And then check back in with your favorite seed company. Botanical Interest is one of mine. I sell these at my garden shop all the time. They're a fabulous company. I love them to death. And I'm going to leave a link for you today in the comments once I get this posted up so that you can just click on over there and easily access their amazing list of microgreen choices. There's all sorts of different things that you can do. And then to wrap that simple little scenario up, there's a tip. There's a trick that you can use so that you can make sure that you've got easily this ongoing supply of microgreens for your kitchen. They're pretty expensive to buy at the market, so being able to have an endless supply that you can whip out of the fridge and put on the plates and serve your family and feed yourself is pretty cool. And so here's the trick. Remember back here when we were putting those seeds in our little container, and I seeded the entire tray, okay? What I didn't really do is I only seeded half of my tray, okay? So I sort of drew an imaginary line, and today I seeded this half, okay? Pressed it down. I'm going to put them in my window when you and I say "C'est la vie" today, and 4 or 5 days later we're going to see them, and I'm going to pay really close attention, cut them off once they've grown up another leaf, okay, and that is a true leaf, and I want to make sure that I cut that before they get too far. But once they begin to emerge, that's the sign at which I'm going to take my seeds and then plant the other side. So then I'm sort of staggering the planting time of these things, and so while this is growing up and getting harvested, this is coming up behind it. It'll take a few more days to catch up, but that's okay because I'll be eating this crop in the meantime. And then this will come up, I'll cut that, and I'll seed this as well. The thing about this beautiful coconut material here, or whatever you decide that you're going to be using, is that you can replant it over and over and over. We don't need to fertilize it. We don't need to keep adding nutrients to the soil like we would if we were growing our vegetables regularly or working in our garden or growing any other food, because remember, we're harvesting these plants before they really begin to grow. That's our goal there, is we don't want them to grow too far. And so because we are harvesting them early, and because the microgreens have within them already, any plant seed has within it already, which is such an amazing thing about vegetables in this beautiful world of plants and food. Every seed has within it sort of a stored energy ability to get that plant off and running, and that's where we intercept, remember? So that's why we don't have to keep fertilizing this. We can just use this one kit over and over and over with more seeds, because we're harvesting those baby plants before they use up their energy and need fertilizer. Does that make sense? I hope that's pretty clear for everybody. It's one of the wonderful things I think about microgreens, and what makes them so fun to grow, so easy to grow, is that you don't have to do much. You just have to remember to put some more seeds in there, and remember to harvest them, and remember to use them on your plate. So that's kind of the simpleness about growing microgreens. Anybody have any questions I missed while I saw you all go by here? Oh, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I love each and every one of you on this Facebook Live. If, going back to the very beginning, if that download sounds like that it might be very interesting to you, if you know that you have high blood sugar levels, if you're worried about it, don't know if you do, why don't you just go ahead and download this thing? It's really sweet and simple, and answer some real simple questions and get you headed off in the right direction so that you don't waste any time with something very serious like this. And the thing about microgreens and prediabetes is it's one of the amazing food sources that you can add that really does help your health and helps you turn things around. Gabby, hey, thanks for tuning in. Nice to see you. So that's kind of, hi, Katie. Hey, sweetheart. Good to see you, Lulu. So that's kind of it. Some of you later tuning in, we're sort of wrapping it up. But the magic of microgreens is they're so simple, they're so easy to do, they're so usable, and they're so incredibly good for you. And when you think about it, the life that you're living and the things that you want to accomplish and all of the good things about your world, none of it could happen if you didn't have one of these healthy little suits we call our bodies. And microgreens are so incredible in providing this with the things that it needs in order for it to function for us. So in order for it to do things like help us think or help us see or help us feel and all of that kind of stuff. So microgreens are one of my favorites. They're going to be on my plate in just a few days. I'm going to finish planting this tray out today, stick them in my windowsill, and off we go. So I think that's going to be wrapping it up. Hi, Patty. Thank you for checking in. Hey, you guys, also, I'm going to post this replay. If you're tuning in later, I promise it will be up in a little bit. I post it always. I go over to my Facebook group, Glucose Girls with Tess Hoke. You're welcome to knock over on that door. I'd love to let you in if you feel like that would be a topic of interest for you, and I'll post it here as well, and include those links for you, easy to use in the show comments so that it makes life easy. Okay, this show, Real Food Reality, is a weekly show. It is sometimes full of technical difficulties, and you never know what's coming at you, but I always do show up. 11 a.m. on Mondays. If you like this page you're finding it on, make sure that you do so that you get notifications. I think somewhere in there is a way to get notified, or I'll figure that out too, or I'll get my little 12-year-old helper and they'll help me do that. So that's kind of it. Patty, we do not need to spritz. Oh, thank you. We do not need to spritz with water. Okay, so it all depends, Patty. If you have when you've started, if your soil medium here is nice and moist, and again, what we are looking for is the moisture of a wrung-out sponge, so you kind of have a visual about what that feels like. That's kind of what you're hoping for. This little dome that we're going to put on top of it is going to keep all of our moisture from coming out, and so that should be plenty of moisture to get your seeds off and running. The thing about moistening it, keeping it too moist while it's under this lid, is you have a tendency to get things to mold and to get too soggy and too wet, and that never really works out too well. So just pay attention, Patty, and all of this. If you feel like it's too dried and maybe it's been in a hot sunny window and the plants look like they're shriveling, obviously, then let's give it some water. But we're only in a 5, 6, 7 day window of time that this whole thing, once they've emerged from the soil, is going to take. And so we shouldn't be have to do too much maintenance to it. Keep an eye on it for sure. You'll know if you need to add a little bit of water and spritz it if you need to. But remember, the beauty about this is that we're going to be harvesting these little guys just as they've emerged and just as they've begun to send out their true first leaf. So it's not too many days, and oftentimes you can do this whole process without even having to intervene. But do keep an eye on it. That's a good question. Okay, so the magic of microgreens. I'm excited for you guys. If you don't know anything about it, I'm excited that maybe this is going to inspire you to start and do some of this in your own window. If you live kind of in an area like I do, it's winter out there. There isn't a green thing growing in miles, maybe all the way down to Southern California. So I'm really looking forward to something green and delicious and yummy right out of my own kitchen. So that's kind of it from here, guys. Hey, thanks so much, Denise. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love each and every one of you. You have no idea how grateful I am that you came to my party and commented. Thank you so much. Listen, anything else I can do for you, I'm happy to. You can check out my website at tesshoke.com. You can join my Facebook group, or you can tune in next week for more Real Food Reality, where I will be back Monday at 11 a.m., and I'll look forward to seeing you then. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you later.